It has officially been 1 week now since the NBA All-Star Weekend, so this is a great opportunity for me to give my personal opinion on how I thought this year went. And I'm also going to be talking about how Adam Silver has some problems going on in the NBA right now that he needs to address. So if you want to hear more, tune in right after the intro. For tuning into podcast number 86 of Sports Talk with JWock. I am your host, Jonah Walkenfoos, and like you kind of heard from the intro, I'm going to be basically discussing how I thought All-Star Weekend went since we are now a week from it, from the time you're watching this. And also, I'm going to be talking about some problems that's going on in the NBA and why I think Adam Silver either needs to resign from his job or he really needs to fix these issues. But before we get into those topics, I just want to thank you guys so much for the continuous support of this channel. We've been getting better and better and growing more and more. And if you're a new subscriber to this channel and you're just now watching this, welcome to the crew. I'm very excited to have you along board. And anybody who isn't watching, if you'd like to, you can always like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. It's totally up to you though. It's your choice. You don't have to if you don't want to. But anyways, let's first start with the NBA All-Star Weekend, where we had 3 days of basketball events that went down. I'm going to be basically talking about each of those days and kind of what went down and what I thought about it essentially. So the first day was Friday, where we saw the Celebrity All-Star Game along with the Rising Stars Game. We also had some celebrity three-point contest, but I'm not really going to talk about that because nobody really talked about it anyways. So first, let's talk about the Celebrity All-Star Game since that was the first event. Rome Flynn won the MVP. He also won the MVP last year for the Celebrity All-Star Game, which, to be honest with you, the Celebrity All-Star Game, not many people care about. I mainly watched it this year because I watched the Almost Athletes podcast. That's basically the Dude Perfect podcast. And Cody Jones, one of the members of the Dude Perfect crew, was playing in that game, and his goal is to get a double-double. He definitely didn't get that. He had to go against Taco Fall, which I don't even know why Taco Fall was in the Celebrity All-Star Game, but yeah, it was just interesting to watch. I think there should be a little bit of tweaks in that. I personally think they should do the tournament format, just where you have about 3 or 4 teams going at it against each other and then have that championship game, but it all equates to one game, kind of like how they did in the All-Star Game. I think that would just make it a little more interesting. I think one long game for the Celebrity All-Star Game is just kind of boring, to be honest with you, but let me know what you guys think down below. I didn't want to spend too much time on the Celebrity All-Star Game because it's not really that important to All-Star Weekend. But the big event on Friday was the Rising Stars Game, where we saw VJ Edgecombe, the rookie for the Philadelphia 76ers, win the MVP for Team Vince. Team Vince Carter, as they won the championship for the Rising Stars in that tournament format where we had 4 teams go at it against each other, which is what I really like. I like that tournament format. VJ Edgecombe was balling out. I think the Rising Stars Game is actually one of the most underrated events in All-Star Weekend. Honestly, it might be my favorite event in All-Star Weekend just because it's fun seeing these rising stars go at it, and they were playing hard. You can tell these guys wanted to prove that they belonged there, and they wanted to win, and that was really fun to watch. I love the coaches as well. So in my opinion, I thought the Rising Stars Game was a 10 out of 10. For the Saturday events, we had the three-point contest, the Shooting Stars competition, and then the dunk contest. And the way I said it was the exact order it went. I didn't even know the three-point contest was going on when I was, it was Valentine's Day. I was hanging out with my girlfriend and stuff. We were making pizzas, and out of nowhere, I look on my phone and it says Damian Lillard wins the three-point contest, and that is actually his 3rd time winning. He won in 2023, 2024, and now 2026. With a torn Achilles, by the way, so that's impressive. He's still recovering. It's not technically where it's a liability at this point, but still, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, they did the three-point contest extremely early. I don't know if you guys experienced the same thing. I'm currently in Mountain Time, so it was really early. If you're in Eastern Time, it might have not been super early, but still, it's what is going on? Usually the three-point contest is the second event, and then the dunk contest is after. So they changed up the order, which caught me by surprise. So I didn't even get to watch the 3-point contest, but that's personally my favorite event on Saturday. They also had the Shooting Stars event where we saw the team Knicks win with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Allen Houston. Allen Houston, by the way, what a form. He's got a nice form on his jump shot. And then we had the dunk contest where Keyshawn Johnson for the Miami Heat won that. That was probably one of the most boring dunk contests I've ever watched, to be honest with you. I just feel like the dunk contest is losing its creativity. We need Mac McClung back. Hashtag bring back Mac McClung. We need him to save the dunk contest once again. But overall, I think Saturday's just really struggling right now. I just feel like it doesn't have the greatest stuff right now. I like the 3-point contest, like I said. Personally, I think that or a possible 1v1 competition should be the final event on Saturday rather than the dunk contest at this point. Just because the dunk contest has been underwhelming for multiple years now, except when Mac McClung's dunking, and we just need a change. Okay, we don't need the dunk contest to be the last event every single time on All-Star Weekend on Saturday. But let me know what you guys think down below. Overall, I just think Saturday was a rough day. And then Sunday caught me by surprise. I was not looking forward to watching this All-Star game because I thought it was going to be extremely boring and bland. This was the complete opposite. I actually thought it was really cool. They did the tournament format, which I really appreciate. I think the tournament format makes it a little more fresh, makes the games feel a little quicker rather than a super slow, long game. I do think maybe you could go back to East and West, but keep that tournament format. That would be fun. But we did overall see Team Stars defeat Team Stripes in the championship 47-21, while Anthony Edwards also was given the MVP honors. That was pretty fun. We did see Team Stripes have to play 3 games in a row, and they were the older guys, so you could tell they were a little bit tired. And Team Stars was pretty fresh, and they were a younger team. Team World also put up some good competition. Victor Wembanyama, thank you for playing competitive, because I think that really set the tone for how this whole entire game went. Apparently, this was one of the most viewed All-Star games in a long time, in 12 to 15 years. So that's impressive to say the least. So good job for Adam Silver putting in this format. I think you need to keep this kind of format and build off of it. Okay, I do think there's some improvements that do need to be worked on, but it was overall pretty solid. So overall, if I were to give a grade based off of how all 3 days went, based off of All-Star Weekend, I would give it a solid B. I don't think it was good enough to be an A because of Saturday. And then I don't think it's bad enough to be below a B because I do think it was solid. I got to give it that. I thought it was entertaining. Saturday is usually the day that I enjoy the most, but that was probably the day I enjoyed the least. But overall, I do think it was very solid, and I think Adam Silver did a great job combining it. There is some work to do, like I said. And people have been saying this for a while. Add the 1v1 tournament. That would be really fun. We saw that for women's basketball, and that was really entertaining. We saw some great competition, and I think that would be great to add to the NBA as well. But let me know what you guys think down below, and we're going to get to the next topic where I'm going to be talking about the Adam Silver situation. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the Adam Silver situation where he's been basically heavily criticized as of recent for some of his recent moves and some things that he may be considering trying to do or not doing at all. So there has been some serious stuff going on in the NBA. I kind of talked about one of the topics, basically tanking, last episode. I didn't really go too full into detail into that, so I'm going to go a little more into detail now. But yeah, Adam Silver's got some stuff to work on because the NBA right now is at a weird situation where there is some serious problems going on and they need to be addressed by him since he's obviously the NBA commissioner. So I'm going to be giving some problems that I think are going on in the NBA, some of the bigger problems. There are other problems, like in my opinion, the NBA Cup, but I've already talked about that in past episodes. And, obviously that sparks some debate, and that's fine. I love being able to have some conversations with people about it and be able to talk about sports. That's always fun. But these are 3 topics, in my opinion, right now that's going on and kind of that's happened during the season that are issues that Adam Silver needs to work on. So first one is what I just mentioned earlier, tanking, where Adam Silver basically has had meetings with the NBA staff, and he's been working on possible things to help solve tanking and basically take away tanking. These are some of the rumors. Just want to say, just because these are rumors does not mean they're true. So I just want to clarify that. But one of the rumors is he might take away the draft pick and just have them be, he might take away the draft and just have them be free agents, where the rookies would just go into free agency and any team could sign them to even like a max contract, something like that. To me, that just seems stupid. We got to have the draft. I love being able to watch the NBA draft and watch these young guys have that great honor of having their name called and going up on the podium, shaking the commissioner's hand and holding up the uniform of the team that they will be playing for and having that hat. It's just really cool. I feel like that's something that you just cannot take away, especially from these young players. And even for fans, I personally love watching the NBA draft. I don't know about you guys, but especially for someone who watches so much highlights of players that could be drafted, you just appreciate where these players go, or not appreciate, especially when the Bulls decide to draft a project player instead of a player that's already proven himself. But anyways, that's far from what I'm trying to talk about. Just don't take away the draft. Please do not do that, because then you would give a chance for like the Oklahoma City Thunder to sign AJ DeMonsta, and nobody wants to see that. We want to see AJ go to a younger team, a team that's not as established, not as good, where he can go play for a team like that and turn that franchise around potentially. That's what we want to see. That adds more balance to the NBA, and we just cannot take away the draft. Another thing is he could possibly forfeit draft picks, where like the Utah Jazz have been doing right now, where they're sitting all their starters out in the fourth quarter, basically throwing the game away so they can lose, which is a stupid idea in my opinion. I think forfeiting a draft pick would threaten them, and it would get the Jazz a little nervous, because if they lose their draft pick, all that tanking's for nothing. They get nothing, and it's like, oh man, like what do we do now? So I do think that could be an interesting situation. I know a lot of Jazz fans are complaining about it, but hey, maybe you shouldn't tank. And as a Bulls fan, they are technically tanking as well, so you guys might think I'm a hypocrite, but at the same time, the Bulls also are very injured. Like Giddey, Trey Jones have hamstring injuries. You don't want to mess with hamstring injuries. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I personally think forfeiting draft picks could be interesting. What's funny is actually the Oklahoma City Thunder, from what I've heard, are the team that is complaining the most about tanking, which is kind of ironic. If you know, you know. But especially since I believe the Thunder own the Jazz pick if it falls out of the top 8. So that would be kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that Thunder rumor is true, but if it is, that's hilarious. And then another rumor that Adam Silver might think about is a tournament where it would be basically the teams in the lottery would go against each other, and whoever wins that tournament gets the top pick. I don't really like that. I don't feel like you need to have a tournament for everything. I feel like if you were to do a tournament, it should just be the teams with the best odds to get the number 1 pick, so that I believe like 14% chance of getting it. I feel like they would be able to do a tournament and go at it, and that would be an interesting one, not all 14 teams. But personally, I want to know your guys' opinion on how you think you could fix tanking, but here's my opinion. Personally, I think you should do this. I think Adam Silver should do this. I think if you basically make it to where every team in the lottery, the teams that didn't make the playoffs, basically you have them all have the same odds to get the number 1 pick. You basically go and on live television, you get the ping pong balls, you write the name of the team, you show it to the camera, you put it in this like little bingo thing or whatever you call it, and then you just basically draw it out while live, no breaks, so there's no speculation of rigging the event or whatever, and you do that, and every team has the same odds. It still gives trade protections. It keeps that around. Like, let's say the Jazz got out of the top 8 or whatever, then the Thunder would own the pick. It still keeps that. And in my opinion, that would take away tanking enough to where teams wouldn't have to try to tank for the worst overall record to get the best odds. It would just be, hey, everyone that didn't make the playoffs has the same amount of odds to get the number one pick. I think that would be better for the NBA as far as tanking. And now I do want to say this. Any solution that people make, there's always going to be problems. There's always going to be people complaining. So there's never going to be like a perfect solution to this. But I do think that if you give the same odds to everyone in the lottery, it would make things a little more even to where you don't have to worry about people tanking as much. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. But anyways, let's talk about another problem that Adam Silver needs to work on, and that is the Clippers/Kawhi Leonard situation, where the Clippers basically kind of gave a quote-unquote suspicious endorsement deal to not harm the salary cap for Kawhi Leonard, where basically Kawhi Leonard is making money from the owner, but it's not affecting the salary cap. In my opinion, that's just downright cheating, and that needs to be worked on, and Adam Silver needs to address that. But I'm not going to get into any further details with that because, in my opinion, you could look up other videos on that and they'll explain it in more depth and stuff. I don't really want to make this video like 40 minutes long. And then the final issue I have with Adam Silver right now is just the gambling issue with the players and coaches, along with just promoting it too much. It feels like there's just too much promoting for betting and gambling. And in my opinion, that should just not be in any sport because it's ruining the game, in my opinion. I think when you have players and coaches especially gambling, that's really bad. We saw earlier in the year in the offseason when we saw Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups and other players get involved in a gambling scandal and stuff. That just needs to get fixed. Like, just take it away. And then also, just the betting situation with the fans. I mean, we're seeing fans giving death threats to players and coaches and stuff because they're not getting a certain amount of rebounds or points or whatever it is. It's just annoying. There should be no gambling and betting in the NBA or really any sport for all I care. It's just ruining the game, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just feel like there should be no part of gambling and betting in sports. It should just be, hey, let's enjoy the game of basketball or football or whatever sport you love to watch. It should just be like that instead of, I'm going to bet on this guy scoring over 20 points. It's like, great. Like, I don't know. It just seems unnecessary to me, but, I could be the only one thinking that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Give me a letter grade on how you think Adam Silver has done so far, either A through F. Give him a letter grade. Let me know what you guys think and if there's any improvements that he needs to work on or things he should take away. But anyways, that's going to be the end of podcast number 86 of Sports Talk with JWock. Like I said earlier, thank you guys so much for the continuous support. If you'd like to support me on my social media accounts, you could check down below in the description where I have all my basically social media accounts named and listed so that you could go check them out on those platforms. And like I said earlier as well, if you haven't, you can always like and subscribe and comment on this video what you think Adam Silver could do better and how you thought All-Star Weekend went. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and I hope you all have an amazing week. God bless.